Polo G is one of the biggest names in rap today, but even with chart-topping hits, fame can't always shield you from trouble. The rapper was recently arrested after a show in Miami for allegedly resisting arrest and clashing with an officer. Let's dive into Polo G's career and criminal history up to now and uncover what really went down in Miami. Born in North Chicago, Polo G grew up in the Marshall Field Garden Apartments. He was the second of 4 kids, with 2 sisters and a brother. Coming from a musical family, his mother and older sister were talented singers, so it wasn't long before Polo began rapping at the age of 9. He was influenced by icons like Gucci Mane, Lil Wayne, Tupac, and Chicago legends G Herbo and Chief Keef. Early on, Polo tried to avoid trouble, but growing up in North Chicago's tough environment made it more difficult with age. Raised by both his parents, Polo's mother worked hard to keep him away from the streets, encouraging him to focus on basketball and academics. But with Cabrini Green Homes just down the street, one of the roughest housing projects in Chicago, Polo couldn't escape the temptation of street life. In high school, his involvement in fights led to him being kicked out of 2 different schools. The death of his close friend, Gucci, when Polo was 15 had a huge impact on him. In interviews, Polo has shared that Gucci's passing completely changed how he viewed life.
That really messed up my understanding. I ain't understand how I'm only 15, my homie only 16 years old, and he, you feel me, died to gunfire. It really messed up my understanding.
After the death of his friend, Polo G became even more determined to pursue his passion for music. But as a teenager with few skills outside of rapping, he soon realized he needed money to pay for studio time. So, Polo began hustling to fund his dream and take his music career to the next level. One night, he snuck out and recorded his first tracks at a studio, adopting the name Polo G, an homage to his favorite fashion brand and his late friend Gucci. After high school, Polo briefly considered broadcasting as a career, planning to attend Lincoln University and later transfer to Clark Atlanta University. His dream was to become a sports broadcaster, inspired by figures like Stephen A. Smith. But his love for music was too strong, so he decided to stay in Chicago and focus on rap. As he started releasing visuals alongside his tracks, Polo gained fans beyond his local area. However, his growing fame was paralleled by his increasing involvement in street life. He was in and out of jail for offenses like selling drugs and car theft, though he avoided serious charges. On January 1, 2018, Polo was involved in a high-speed chase with police in a stolen car. He and his friends crashed the car and were arrested. Around this time, Polo began using drugs like Xanax and ecstasy to cope with the struggles of growing up in a violent, poverty-stricken neighborhood while pursuing his rap dreams. Despite this, he continued releasing music, and his numbers began to rise. In 2018, he dropped a remix of Neva Cared by Lil Durk and G Herbo, which quickly went viral, racking up over 1 million views on YouTube. This track gained him a strong following in Chicago, with rumors circulating that Polo would be the next big artist to break out of the city. But just as things were heating up, Polo was arrested again and sent to Cook County Jail. During this time, he reflected on his decisions and realized that, while his name was buzzing in the streets, he wasn't able to capitalize on his music success from behind bars. While in jail, Polo worked on new music and started to shift his style, moving from the drill sound to a more melodic flow. Upon his release, he quickly got to work, recording tracks he had written while incarcerated. He teamed up with his old engineer, DJ AYO, who had started producing beats while Polo was locked up. One of these songs became his breakout hit, Finer Things, which he released in August 2018. The music video quickly hit over 250,000 views in its first week, propelling Polo's career to new heights. To avoid being a one-hit wonder, Polo knew he needed to be strategic. Although he had the city's support, he had only dropped a few remixes and singles and needed a full-length project to establish himself as a serious artist. His next move was to collaborate with Bronx rapper Lil TJ on the track Pop Out. This collaboration exposed Polo's music to a new audience in New York, and the song hit number 11 on the Billboard charts. This success led to offers from major labels, and Polo signed with Columbia Records. In June 2019, Polo G released his debut album, Die a Legend, which featured both of his breakout singles. The album solidified Polo's place as a serious artist, showing that he was not just a one-hit wonder but someone who was here to stay. As Polo's career seemed to be taking off, old habits resurfaced. In August 2019, he was hospitalized after overdosing on Xanax and ecstasy, a reminder of the toll his past struggles had taken on him.
I got my son that I gotta slow down off that.
and that made me quit X and Xanax altogether.
Clip 3. After his overdose in August 2019, Polo G posted a picture on Instagram showing himself with a hospital bracelet and hooked up to an 4, captioning it, "I got a lil too lit last night and woke up in a emergency room, almost lost my life." The addiction that had developed from trying to cope with the pressures of the streets followed him into the music industry, and nearly cost him everything. But Polo was fortunate to survive, and that experience became a turning point. He made the decision to quit both ecstasy and Xanax cold turkey. In addition to his near-death experience, Polo had just become a father in July 2019, welcoming a son into the world. In a recent interview with The Breakfast Club, he shared that his son's birth was a major factor in his decision to get sober. The responsibility of being a father helped him realize that he needed to make a change, not just for his career but for his family's future as well.
Rapper arrested. A night in Miami landing Polo G behind bars after a confrontation with police.
Polo G's commitment to being a good role model for his son and a responsible father figure played a huge part in his decision to get sober. After the hospital scare, he knew that being on hard drugs would make it nearly impossible to live up to that role. But despite the setback, Polo quickly returned to his grind. In February 2020, he dropped Go Stupid featuring Stunna 4 Vegas and NLE Choppa, produced by Mike Will Made It and Tay Keith. The track became a hit, reaching number 60 on the Billboard charts, marking his second major chart success. He followed up with his second studio album, The GOAT, on May 15, 2020. The album was a massive success, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and placing 10 songs on the Hot 100. Featuring collaborations with Juice WRLD, Lil Baby, and BJ the Chicago Kid, the album sold 99,000 units in its first week. That same year, Polo G was included in XXL's freshman class of 2020 and launched his own record label, Only Dreamers Achieve, signing Syracuse-based rapper Scory as his first artist. In 2021, Polo's success continued, as he was featured in Forbes' 30 Under 30 list in the music category. He released GNF, Okakok, and contributed to the soundtrack for Judas and the Black Messiah. He also appeared on the song Fashion with Pop Smoke, included on the Boogie movie soundtrack, and collaborated with Lil TJ and Fivio Foreign on Headshot. Polo's ability to move seamlessly between the Chicago and Brooklyn drill sounds without losing his unique style helped him rise to the top. In 2020, a snippet of a track he recorded with producer and influencer Einer Banks went viral on TikTok. That track later became Rap Star, released in April 2021. It shot to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, marking Polo's most successful single to date. He followed it up with Gang Gang, featuring Lil Wayne in May, both singles promoting his third studio album, Hall of Fame. Released in June 2021, the album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200, making it his first number 1 album. Everything seemed to be falling into place for Polo G, with each new release reaching new heights. However, as with many artists who rise quickly, trouble was never far behind. Despite his efforts to